Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. With the second half of 2.7 having just released, in this video I want to go through an interesting piece I came across from the Japanese side of Automaton that breaks down why this Wuthering Waves 2.7 update story might just be one of the best the game's ever had, and also why. I also want to go through the replies and quote retweets to this article to show you what some of the fans have been saying too. So let's go over what makes this particular chapter stand out and why it got nominated for PlayStation Partner Awards of this year for the User's Choice Award category. Version 2.7 marks the climactic finale of the main story's Renacita arc, officially titled Dawn Breaks on Dark Tides. The article's author starts off their piece like this, describing the arc as the god-killing story weaving together old characters who overcame hardships and new characters who were overly determined from the start, providing a fitting and cathartic ending to a major milestone. They continue on to say, as someone who fell in love with Frolova in version 2.5 and wanted to kneel before Augusta in version 2.6, it's important to see old characters play an active role again in the new version. And what was the result? A storyline that feels balanced, fresh faces with drive, and returning heroes who remind you just how much they've evolved in such a short time. One of the big talking points in this article is how the game finally gives older characters their moment again. The author mentions how in previous updates, the story of Wuthering Waves has been developed mainly around new characters. It may be a good story in the sense that it allows you to get to know the characters in depth, but because the story unfolds around the events of each character, it often strays from the mysteries of the world. And what's most disappointing is that the new characters barely interact with the old ones. This is understandable as the new characters are essentially the main characters of that version, but it's a shame as there are such a diverse cast of characters. I would like to see more interactions between them. And version 2.7 flips that script, where characters like Zani and Carlotta return, not just for cameos, but in meaningful ways. They're shown defending the city from attacks and protecting civilians, proving that the world's safety isn't just on Rover's shoulders anymore. The author calls this a pleasant surprise to see these old characters make a reappearance, and even describes a sense of trust you feel by seeing these old characters brought back in for support. You genuinely believe the world's in good hands when they're around. Many of the events in version 2.x have focused on the protagonist and the new characters becoming closer, and this seems to have paid off, leading to this grand finale. The character development is so realistic, allowing players to trust the characters as they mature. There's also this poetic theme running throughout the writing that imperfect humans, by sharing pain and understanding, can stand up to even gods. The article says, human strength lies in the ability to accept and forgive others' failures, and the idea of an imperfect being defeating even gods is truly romantic. And honestly, it's a beautiful way to sum up what makes Wuthering Waves stand out among other gacha RPGs, on top of the beautiful graphics and elegant music. And when it comes to the new character Galbraina, the article says, although they didn't go into her backstory as deeply as other characters, her history was quite brutal, as can be seen in the flashback scenes. And on the lack of a backstory compared to previous chapters, they continue on to say, this was the climax of the main story, so I think it was a wise decision to avoid delving too deeply into her, as in Galbraina's backstory. But that's not to say that's because they didn't like Galbraina or her backstory, far from it. They say, I was impressed by how well the story progressed. Galbraina also yearns for what she has lost, and there are times when she seems to be acting coldly in order to prevent the tragedy from repeating itself. Her fighting style, hiding her true feelings and pretenses, is noble and beautiful. Later on, they continue to say that they were surprised that it was Galbraina who faced off against the Fraxus' head, as I think they were expecting Rover to be the one to fight. And of course, they couldn't go without mentioning some obvious inspirations for Galbraina, namely those of Dante in Devil May Cry, that of the similar occupations as Demon Hunter compared to Devil Hunter in Japanese, or Discord Hunter in English, and her signature weapons of Lux and Umbra, which are very similar to Ebony and Ivory, which also go by the names Luce and Ombra as well, very similar names. Especially since there was the recent collaboration between Kuro Games and Devil May Cry in their other game, Punishing Grey Raven. The article comments on the themes of history repeating itself and prophecy too. They say, it was only because of the past that they were able to overcome the threat of destruction they currently face. The tomorrow they reach will belong to humans, and the old gods will die, marking the beginning of the true era of humans. However, even though the world of Wuthering Waves has already been destroyed at least once, the protagonist is fighting to prevent that tragedy from being repeated. There was a major hint to this in the Renacita arc, where the prophecy of Septimonth's destruction was overturned. With the strength of human will, it is possible to break common sense and even kill a god. Just as it worked out well in the Renacita arc, I hope to see a larger scale development that spreads its influence throughout the world. Overall, the Automaton article is glowing in its praise. The author calls 2.7 one of Wuthering Waves' strongest updates yet, narratively and emotionally. But throughout the article, you could tell that they were sending subtle, or maybe not so subtle, jabs about the recent development of the story, on focusing on a single character per act and the lack of character interaction, and how because this patch had those things, it had the past characters make reappearances, it had other characters interact with each other, and the combination of returning characters, new faces, and the overarching theme of human connection and resilience hits all the right notes for them. And on top of the impressive visuals and fantastic music, it sets high expectations for what comes next. But this is just one article by one guy, so I was curious to find out what the reader's reaction would be, so I checked out the comment replies and quote retweets, and here's what I found. So this is the post here, and I'm just going to search for by likes to see what the most liked comments are. So the first one up here with 15 likes, I mean that's not a huge amount of likes, but this is just for this article here. The most disappointing aspect is that the new characters hardly interact with past characters. This part here is not what this person is saying, this is actually them quoting the article itself. And they're saying here in response, this is an issue inherent to gacha games, isn't it? Saying like this is something that happens in all gacha games, so like why you point this out. Second one up here. There are too many female characters turning into a gal game, as in like a waifu game. So, wife hunting. Version 2.7 can be summed up in one word as the harem route. Next one up here. It's written that past characters and new characters won't interact at all, but after defeating Leviathan in the official short anime that was released, everyone is eating together. So it's not like there's absolutely no interaction at all. They're talking about a short that was uploaded to YouTube as well, not something that's actually in-game. Stories are, after all, just advertisements for that version's pickup characters and the banner character. That's the English one there, I'm not going to respond to that. This here is also something in the article itself. Whether it's islands or organizations, seeing people who have previously had little connection or were in conflict come together toward the end for an all-out battle is truly spectacular, isn't it? So again, they're praising all the characters coming together. There weren't too many in the responses, but there were a lot more in the quote retweets, so let's have a look at those. So skipping any English quote retweets in here, I'm just going to look at the Japanese ones. It's not exactly wrong, but the way new characters, old characters, and past characters is written feels it off. They're talking about a specific kanji being used here. They're using the word kyukara, meaning like old characters. This kanji here kind of insinuates replacement as well. Like when they're saying old characters, it's like when you say, oh, I got a new phone and my old phone, I gave my old phone away. Like you replaced your old phone for a new one. It's not just about a past phone, it's about an old one that's been replaced. So they're just like taking issue with the particular kanji being used here. And they continue to say, in a game with power creep, the terms old or past characters tend to carry a negative image. Another one here. Again, this is another person complaining about the use of that particular kanji. Here's another quote retweet here. I think, shouldn't we add a few more male characters? This is like reversed in Japanese. They're saying that they want more male characters to be added to the game. The new male character is all who are you, and the backstory of Galbrainer told by Chimera before the final battle is too long. I wanted to see August and Yuno getting along though. It was thrilling when the Black Shores members rushed in to help and when they fought Leviathan in an all-out battle. Another one here. The gender balance was so bad that I ended up laughing during the climax scene. That's what they say here. The ratio of male to female characters, angry emoji. I want to complain, but considering the mess in my own fandom's version from the same period, I can't say anything. Even though there are 2 4-star characters, having only 1 male limited character is the same thing. I don't know exactly what game they're referring to. I'm just giving you what they're saying. Girl, seriously lame. Honestly, that story was so moving that it might have been the first time in a mobile game, so they really liked the story. They say it was really moving. For real, it's a godly game. It's a god game. I don't even know how many times I cried. I teared up as well at the end of the finale. There's some more people talking about the use of that particular kanji there. It was seriously the best. There aren't many games where you can immerse yourself as a protagonist to this extent. I've been hyped for 3 years, kept playing for a year and a half, and now I genuinely feel it was worth playing. If they could just put a bit more effort into map exploration and echoes, it'd be a flawless god tier game with no complaints. This one here is just saying that they're interested. They don't really give any other information. The only thing that bothers me is what will happen to Frolova from now on. Like, why did it end up like that? And they're like, this is a laying down emoji type thing. While progressing the main storyline and introducing new characters in parallel, the story avoids padding or redundancy, leading to a classic development and a grand finale. It was truly the culmination of this is exactly what we wanted. nothing but expectations from the future. Like, I have nothing but high expectations for the future. Is what that means. Yeah, and that's about it. That's literally all of the quote retweets that I can find that weren't in English. So yeah, Wuthering Waves 2.7 isn't just another update, it's storytelling done right. And even though players have, for the most part, been enjoying Wuthering Waves in recent months, they still have clear issues that they would like to see Kura Games address in the future. And it's not to say that all Japanese players prefer this, or they like this, or they hate that. It's not as simple as black or white. It's not a case of loving everything or hating everything. And Wuthering Waves has been doing really well in Japan in recent months. Like, each patch has been getting better and better, and I've been seeing a lot of people praising the story, but also criticizing some aspects that they want to see changed or improved. Like, just because it's good doesn't mean that it can't be better. And I think these comments here and also in the review show that as well. Like, they do like it, they like what they're being shown, but they also realize that there are things that can be improved upon. And even though people might have problems with certain things in the game, they don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater, because on the whole, they still love playing this game. I will put a link below to both the article and also the Twitter post, so you guys can see for yourself if I've excluded any information. Like, these were only just a few replies and a few quote retweets, but it's pretty representative of what I've been seeing in JP on the whole from the player base. But yeah, feel free to check for yourself. So that's about it. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because I'll have more videos like this in the future. So until next time, I will see you in the next video. Peace.